News at noon starts right now.
A man who San Antonio police say was hoping to meet up with a woman instead had a date with trouble.
Someone shot him, sent him to the hospital. Katrina Weber spoke with a witness who saw what happened from a nearby gym.
This is the relative calm crime scene tape and police cars after the even bigger commotion that played out this morning in front of this Westside Planet Fitness.
It's something like you see in the movies, you know.
Greg Luna was working out inside this location near North General McMullen and West Commerce when he suddenly noticed something was wrong outside.
At first it sounded like somebody dropping weights. That's how loud it was.
According to San Antonio police, that sound was gunshots fired at a man who had shown up in the parking lot before 7 a.m., hoping for a face-to-face with a woman he met online. They say 3 other men were here, and one of them shot him, then drove off with his car. Police say they're not sure if the woman the victim was meeting had any connection to what happened to him here, or if there even was a woman. The terror, though, was real, both for the man who was shot and everyone else.
Everybody just ducking and running, and, you know, people around the counter just running for their lives. A gentleman staggering in and holding his side.
The 41-year-old victim with serious wounds in his back and groin got help first at the gym, then went to a hospital by ambulance. Police searched the area but did not find the shooters. Katrina Weber, KSAT12 News.
Looking outside with live cam, another pretty day out there, but I have a feeling it's gonna get hot.
It's going to get a little toasty. We're starting to see those temperatures climb back closer to where they should be for this time of year. For context, our average high is about 90 degrees. We're headed for the upper 80s this Wednesday. You can see right now, after starting off this morning with some additional cloud cover, we're really seeing that break up. Some more peaks of sunshine with us this lunchtime hour, and that is helping those temperatures really warm. We're at 81 right now over at SA International. Winds out of the southeast at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. The mugginess is there too. You likely felt it if you stepped outside early this morning. A look at dew points, which is how we measure that moisture in the lower levels of the atmosphere, currently in the mid to upper 60s. So yes, noticeable. And as we head into this afternoon, I do think we will see those skies become mostly sunny, especially by the later portions of this afternoon. You can see that's going to help those temperatures climb into the upper 80s. Around 88 is that forecast high here in San Antonio. And then if you're stepping out for any evening plans, we'll see those thermometers fall into the low 80s by or shortly after the sun goes down. A quieter weather pattern takes back over, and that's going to be the theme over the next 48 hours, Thursday and into Friday. Temperatures just in the upper 80s, right around that 90-degree mark after starting off near about 70. It's when we get to this weekend that we see a little shift in our weather pattern, and that is going to lead to some isolated storm chances that are going to return to the forecast. So we'll have a full look at that, what we can expect in the days ahead coming up in just a few, guys.
Thank you, Mia. San Antonio police left with a lot of questions after a man was shot on the city's west side. It happened just after 3:30 this morning on West Commerce and Hortensia Street. Police tell us 2 men shot the victim in front of a home. He was hit once in the head, once in the arm. He was taken to the hospital in critical condition. So far, no arrests have been made.
The state now resting its case in a murder retrial. Meanwhile, conflicting stories told to the lead investigator in the murder case of that Trinity University student who was killed, replayed for the jury today. Mark Howerton giving 2 interviews about his relationship with her. But the Texas Rangers on the stand say there were inconsistencies. The 2 interviews taking place after the murder of his girlfriend in 2017, Kaylee Mandotti. In one of those interviews, Howerton says Mandotti hated Trinity University and wanted to leave and just be with him. But in the second interview, Howerton was pressed about how Mandotti's friends and relatives said he was the one who trashed her dorm room and took away her phone. The Texas Ranger says that Howerton didn't deny all of that, but added her friends were trying to keep Mandotti away from him. If found guilty, Howerton faces up to life in prison.
An arrest has been made in a deadly shooting case that happened less than 2 weeks ago outside of a local bar. This 35-year-old Noah James Patterson. Police say surveillance footage helped investigators track him down. We're told the shooting happened after 2 groups of people were fighting in the parking lot outside the private social club. That's on UTSA Boulevard near Vance Jackson. Police say Patterson pulled out a gun and shot another man in the stomach. That man later died. Patterson charged with homicide and 3 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon.
Right now, the polls are open for early voting in the city's runoff elections. San Antonio residents must decide who they want to represent in Districts 1 and 7. Both of those races too close to call during the general election at the beginning of the month. Polls close at 6 o'clock tonight. Early voting ends on Tuesday, and polls are closed on Sunday. Election day is next weekend, June 10th. A bill that would help the country avoid defaulting on its debts narrowly passing out of House Rules Committee, now on track to be voted on by the full chamber. That's later tonight. ABC's M. Nguyen with why many have confidence it'll make it out of the House despite calls from both political parties against it.
A high-stakes vote on the debt ceiling agreement is expected to take place in the House tonight on the bill negotiated between President Biden and House Speaker Kevin McCarthy. McCarthy in his final push to lock down the votes needed to pass the deal and avoid a potentially catastrophic default.
Everybody has a right to their own opinion about history. I'd want to be here with this bill too.
But hard-right conservative Republicans are slamming the deal McCarthy brokered, saying it falls far short of their spending cut demands.
It's a terrible bill, plain and simple.
In a surprising development, the Congressional Budget Office estimates the Republican demand for stricter work requirements for older Americans receiving food benefits, known as SNAP, will actually increase federal spending by $2 billion and make 78,000 more people eligible for assistance. Some Republicans accusing the Speaker of being outsmarted by Democrats, though most appear to be backing McCarthy, pointing to how the deal will still cut $1.5 trillion over the next decade.
The Fiscal Responsibility Act is a historic step to restoring fiscal sanity and holding Washington accountable.
Last night, the deal cleared its first major hurdle when conservative Kentucky Republican Thomas Massey's vote allowed the bill to be narrowly passed out of committee. But even if the House approves the bill, it still faces challenges in the Senate. Just one senator could block swift passage, and despite both party leaders in the chamber signing off on the bill, some haven't decided how they'll vote.
I have a lot of concerns about this agreement.
I think the Biden-McCarthy debt deal is a disaster for the country.
Senior leadership aides say they're relying on moderate lawmakers to push this bill through Congress. The Senate Majority Leader has already told members they should be prepared to stay this weekend for votes. M. Nguyen, ABC News, Washington.
The future of the Spurs still playing in France with a chance at a championship coming up in sports. New at noon, police are investigating a major crash on the south side involving one of their own.
Camelia Juarez is live at the scene. It's near Somerset and Titan Crossing, not too far from Loop 410. So, Camelia, what have you learned about the officer's condition?
Well, so far we know that when we got here, there was a lot of construction and that may have played a role in this crash. What we know so far is that an off-duty officer was running a funeral procession. He was on a motorcycle and then he was injured. We learned this information just about 15 minutes ago. San Antonio police say the officer was at the tail end of the funeral procession. He was going to speed up to the front when a pickup truck failed to yield. The truck lost control and struck the officer, throwing him off the motorcycle. The officer was rushed to the hospital with some road rash, some lacerations, but he is expected to be okay. It's unclear if that truck driver will face any kind of charges or if he was injured. San Antonio police say this is an ongoing investigation. San Antonio police also saying that this is something that could have been easily avoided. Reporting live on the south side, Camelia Juarez, KSAT12 News.
Thank you, Camelia. A new campaign wants you to be aware of what you should do if you are stopped by law enforcement while you're behind the wheel.
The San Antonio NAACP branch partnering up with the Bexar County Sheriff's Office, creating a new video that offers suggestions on what officers expect you to do.
Alyssa Cole met with both organizations to find out what brought on this partnership and how it can benefit you on the road.
Getting pulled over can be an overwhelming experience. And with summer underway, that means more people will be on the roads, including teen drivers.
If and when you do get stopped on a traffic stop, understand that we're just trying, we have a job to do as well, and we've got to maintain traffic safety.
In an effort to reduce the risk of harmful or traumatic officer encounters for all people, especially people of color. Members of the NAACP partner with the Bexar County Sheriff's Office to create an educational video of what to do and what not to do when being pulled over.
We're helping our people stay safe, and he's also helping his deputies to learn and to do the right thing.
19-year-old Kendall Vernon plays the driver in the video. He says even though the encounter was staged, he felt anxious.
The way that the process actually goes, and as we've shown it in this video, it's not something that should be that scary, I think.
Vernon's experience is part of the reason why the video was created for the community. The 2-minute and 45-second video lists important tips informing people of their rights.
Signing that ticket is not an admission of guilt. It's just a promise to appear in court.
There's a ton of great information in that video. One of the tips I even learned for myself is that if you are truly frightened or you're not sure if the officer is legitimate, you can call 911 and place the phone down on the seat while you encounter and communicate with the officer. We'll have the entire video posted on our website at KSAT12 if you would like to take a listen for yourself or share it with your children, family, or friends. But for now, reporting outside of the Barbara Jordan Community Center, Alyssa Cole, KSAT12 News.
Once again, outside with live cam, looks like the clouds are getting a little scattered. Like we might get some really good sunshine later on today. That'd be kind of nice.
We are drying things out over the next couple of days after finding some rounds of recent rain, not just last Saturday night and into early Sunday, but also on Memorial Day. So yes, that drier weather pattern takes over throughout the remainder of the work week before we see some isolated storm chances this weekend. Quick look at the aquifer level this Wednesday, up 0.3 of a foot, 647.7. 3 pollens out there in today's pollen count. The good news is molds are down from where they were yesterday in the moderate category. Pigweed and grass are in the count, but they are both low. We'll have a full look at that forecast, all the details after the break.
If you're heading out, be aware, very humid out there. You're going to have to redo your hair.
Uh-oh.
Just that simple.
It's probably a good day to keep the extra can of hairspray handy. I know I did before I came to work. That is for sure. Yes, we've got the humidity in place. It is going to be a warm afternoon with those highs climbing into the upper 80s here in San Antonio. And yes, we are starting to see the morning cloud cover break up and scatter out just a little bit more. So that's going to lead way to some more sunshine as we head into the afternoon hours. We've got high pressure in control right now, which is why today is expected to be on the calmer side. That's going to continue not just tomorrow, but into Friday as we get ready to wrap up the work week. And because of that, we will have more opportunities for some sun, and those temperatures could climb a degree or two each afternoon. We're nearing about 90 degrees, especially by Friday and into the first half of the upcoming weekend. Speaking of this weekend, though, that's when we will see a little change in our weather pattern, and that could lead to some isolated storm chances as well. So speaking of which, a look outside with live cam shows just that, some peaks of sunshine in between the leftover cloud cover that we do have on hand. You can see this is what it looks like on satellite looking down from space. Temperatures in the 80s for the most part, 81 here in town, 83 in Pleasanton, a few upper 70s though, still lingering in places like Kerrville, Rock Springs, Uvalde, checking in at 77 this hour, currently 84 already in Cotulla down I-35. We're expecting those temperatures to warm up here into this afternoon as we see some more of that sunshine around 88, that forecast high here in San Antonio by 4 to 5 p.m. And then if you're stepping out for any evening plans, 85 by 7 p.m., 80 by 9. And then we'll continue to see those thermometers fall into the 70s later on tonight. As I mentioned earlier, our average high for this time of year is about 90 degrees. For most, we'll be just a few degrees below that this afternoon. 86 in Fair Oaks Ranch, as well as Kerrville, 88 in Devine, 89 in Pearsall, and 88 in Pleasanton. I think across our far southwestern counties, it's possible that we see those temperatures climb into the low 90s for a few of us. The vast majority of south central Texas is expected to stay dry today, and that's going to continue tomorrow into Friday as well. But later on this afternoon, depending on how the sea breeze works inland off the coast, it is possible that our far south southeastern counties across the coastal plains area may find a very stray isolated shower before the day is done. Coverage is expected to be very low, very limited. We'll call it about a 10% chance. And that's going to be the theme into Thursday and into Friday as well. But then notice into this weekend, 20% chance on Saturday. We'll bump that up to a 30% shot Sunday and into Monday, 20% chance as we head into next Tuesday. So let's go ahead and talk about those changes in the weather pattern. This is the big picture across the Lone Star State. Most of us pretty quiet out there. You can see as we throw on the upper level winds in the atmosphere, there's a little bump in the jet stream. That is an area of high pressure, which is dominating our weather pattern right now. We've got low pressure off to our east over the Gulf and another low pressure off to our west near California. Over the next few days into Thursday, that high pressure system is still in control, and into Friday as well, but it's going to start to break down. And as we see that happen, this disturbance off to our northwest is going to allow for a few pieces of energy to start to move in to the state of Texas. So when you combine that with the moisture in place, we should be able to see a few isolated showers and storms get up and running this weekend. It is not going to be a washout by any means, but still we may need to monitor for a few rogue lightning strikes here or there. That continues into next week with temperatures falling just a little bit back into the mid to upper 80s, guys.
Thank you, Mia.
A little adversity hitting a couple of playoff baseball teams, and the Spurs' top pick could be a champion on his way to San Antonio. Hey, when you get this deep into playoffs, it's all about adjustments. The Bernie High baseball team, their field was all wet yesterday, so they got to practice on the champion high school team. Still 90 feet to first. The Greyhounds are getting ready to face Sinton in the Class 4A regional final starting tomorrow. Sinton is looking to repeat, and Greyhounds are looking to knock them off. Bernie feeling pretty good after beating Robstown in the 4A regional semis.
It was a big win. That was one of the better teams we faced so far in the playoffs, and their crowd was crazy, so that gives us a good warm-up for Sins because they're going to be bringing a big crowd with them too. So it's important to get used to the environment.
So they just played Davenport. I mean, we beat Davenport 2 games out of 3 in district, and they gave them a run for their money. They beat them the first game, then both games were pretty close. I mean, that gives us hope.
They're a very, very quality baseball team. They don't make many mistakes. They don't beat themselves. Pitching has always been there, especially since Aldenese has been there. Pitching has always been one of their mainstays, and they just do all the things right, do all the little bitty things right you're supposed to do in baseball.
All right, Bernie's going to play Sinton in the best-of-3 series starting tomorrow evening, 6 o'clock at Wolf Stadium. Game 2 and 3, if necessary, will happen Friday at Whataburger Field in Corpus. So the Chargers baseball team also had to make a little adjustment. They practiced on their football field, so it was 30 yards to first. The Chargers gearing up to face Leander Rouse in the Class 5A regional final. Champion beat Corpus Christi Ray in the 5A regional semifinals, 2-1. They dropped the first contest, and then they had to win 2 straight elimination games, which they did.
The momentum coming into this game, well, we start off the series, of course, with a loss, and that was a long bus ride home, especially from Corpus. But we came back out the very next day, and we did not lose our fighting spirit. If anything, that motivated us more.
We got to keep the momentum from the win from last week and bring it to Rouse because they're the hardest team we played so far. We got to bring everything we have and show out.
It's awesome for the kids. They put in a ton of work to be here, and they've been living in these moments and kind of selling out. Our deal for this whole season was max out, and they're definitely doing that. They're maximizing their potential.
All right, Champion and Rouse will open up their best-of-3 series tomorrow, 7 o'clock, Concordia University. Game 2 and 3, if necessary, is going to be played Friday and Saturday here at the Wolf. Speaking of Bernie Champion, they hired Josh Adkins as an assistant football and basketball coach. Josh played for Larry Hill at Smithson Valley, and then he wanted to play college ball at New Mexico State and then back here at UTSA. In high school softball, Class 1A semifinals, D'Hanis beat Netchus 3-2, advancing to the 1A state final this afternoon. They're going to face Hearn Lee in a rematch of last year's title game. Victor Wembanyama and the Metropolitans 92 are just one win away from the LNB Pro A Finals after beating Asvel 86-83 in Game 2 of the semifinals yesterday. They played the best-of-5 series, 2-1. Wemby course, the future of the Spurs, more than likely. Played 35 minutes, scored 13 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, and he had a blocked shot. Game 3 of the semifinals coming up on Friday at 1:30 our time. And I'm sure it's out there somewhere in the universe. You can find it on TV at 1:30 somewhere if you want to watch
and
it.
we talk about him like he's definitely coming.
Yeah.
Probably, maybe.
Probably 99.99999%.
Okay.
Or 100%.
Got your money on it.
Top pick. He's the best out there.
All right.
There you go.
People always sharing tips and tricks to save cash, especially when it comes to booking travel. The latest trend has airlines saving people hundreds, but there is a risk involved.
And new today at 5, yoga is said to be ease stress and improving mental well-being. For those suffering with consistent pain, yoga may offer the relief that you're looking for. We'll tell you how today at 5 after entertainment tonight.
You know what'll always make you feel better? French toast in the morning. Look at that. Another delicious day on SA Live. And look, they're going to have leftovers, right? That's a lot of food.
Wow.
Okay.
He got all that in his mouth at once. He's just stuffing himself.
No keepsies. A new warning about a type of robbery called jugging. That's when criminals follow you from your bank or ATM transaction with the idea that they're going to rob you later on at your next stop. ABC's Janae Norman with the uptick of these crimes around the country, but also right here in Texas.
I knew when he was on the seat exactly what he was after.
This is the moment Texas resident Lisa Kaiser became a victim of what police call bank jugging.
I started screaming to get out of my car, get out of my car.
Jugging is when criminals lie in wait outside banks or ATMs and follow people they believe have withdrawn large amounts of cash and rob them at their next stop.
They're looking for people that are walking out with bank envelopes.
My son said, Mom, I know, he took the money, he took some other items, and he said, but he didn't hurt you. And so that's what matters.
Kaiser is one of a number of recent victims of what police say could easily turn violent. Some of those cases recently caught on camera. Multiple states have seen a rise, including Texas and Alabama. In Oklahoma, officials telling residents to stay alert after seeing a couple of cases last month. And Ocoee, Florida, just outside Orlando, issuing a crime trend alert.
Jugging in some form or fashion is very common. It goes beyond banks. People stay outside restaurants and bars into the early morning, pick out vulnerable people, follow them a certain distance, and rob them.
Jury selection now underway in the trial of the former sheriff's deputy who worked as a school resource officer during the 2018 Parkland, Florida shooting. Scott Peterson has been widely criticized for his actions during the attack. Prosecutors say Peterson failed to follow his training. They say he stayed outside Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High in a covered position for at least 45 minutes and did not confront the shooter. Peterson has claimed in part he didn't enter the building because he didn't know where the gunfire was coming from. He also said that he could not have found and engaged the shooter in time to protect the victims. Peterson is charged with 7 counts of felony child neglect, 3 counts of culpable negligence, and 1 count of perjury.
5 people still missing after an apartment building in Iowa partially collapsed. 2 of the missing may still be inside that building. Yesterday, crews were able to find several animals, but none of the missing people. Instead of beginning a demolition, now rescue crews are working to figure out another way to search, which is dangerous since the building is unstable and continues to get shakier as time progresses.
Overseas, the drone attack that targeted Moscow exposed glaring breaches in its air defenses and underlined the capital's vulnerability. This comes as more Russian soil comes under fire amid expectations of a Ukrainian counteroffensive. The attack damaged 3 apartment buildings yesterday. Russia says 5 of the 8 drones that took part in that raid were shot down. 3 others were jammed and forced to veer off course. The attack followed a May 3rd drone strike at the Kremlin that lightly damaged the roof of the palace that includes one of the offices of Putin.
A failed spy satellite launch causing all sorts of confusion in South Korea. It was launched by North Korea and it led to an investigation in South Korea. Then a second message went out shortly after that saying that the first alert was made in error. Here's ABC's Jo-hee Cho with what the mayor of Seoul is saying about all this confusion.
Failure. It's rare that North Korean officials quickly admitted the launch of its first spy satellite into space was a failure. South Koreans picked up remnants from the rocket. Pyongyang says they will launch again as soon as possible. The missile scare impacting South Korea because of its unusual flight pattern. When North Korea launches missiles, they're mostly fired towards the east coast. But this morning, the projectile was fired towards the southwest and South Korean airspace.
Big confusion early this morning with presidential alert messages on everyone's phone asking people to get ready to evacuate without mentioning why. Then shortly after, another message canceling the earlier one,
saying it was made in error. Mayor of Seoul spoke about the confusion.
오늘 새벽
This emergency message could be a working level official's overreaction, but it was not a mistake. Our principle is to respond in a manner that can be seen as excessive, and there can be no compromise on safety, he said. A good lesson, analysts say, for South Korea to restore regular public drills and training. Wednesday's launch also prompted brief evacuation alerts in Japan.
A senior U.S. official told ABC News that this is a huge embarrassment for North Koreans who have claimed back in 2018 that they put a satellite into space. But that was not true. Jo-hee Cho, ABC News, Seoul, South Korea.
Outside with live cam, more humidity today, but that means we've had some rain. So we'll take the humidity if it means rain.
That is a good point. Yeah, we've got some saturated soils across portions of south central Texas because of those recent rounds of rain. Not going to find a whole lot of that today and over the next couple of days. But as we get into this weekend, that's when we'll see few isolated storm chances return to the forecast. But let's focus on right now. You can see, yes, we've got some peaks of sunshine out there. Temperatures warming, low 80s across the board here in San Antonio, 81 over at the airport, 82 at Stinson, as well as Randolph, 81 over at Kelly. You can see nothing really out there on the radar right now. And I think that's going to be the general trend that we find for most of us throughout the remainder of the day. Maybe a very stray shower across our far southeastern counties, but that's about it. We'll see more sunshine this afternoon. Highs climbing because of that. Forecast high of 88 degrees here in San Antonio. And then we'll see those temperatures fall through the mid and low 80s for any of those Wednesday evening plans. Now, as we head into Thursday and Friday, maybe bumping up those high temperatures by a degree or two, closing in on that 90-degree mark. A couple of pool days in the forecast, but yes, we'll start to see those temperatures maybe then come down by a degree or two into Sunday and Monday of next week as those isolated storm chances return to the forecast with that weather pattern change. So we'll get you all the details on that, plus a look at some interesting rainfall statistics from the month of May coming up in just a few.
Thank you, Mia. The Food and Drug Administration has issued a warning about approved treatments for diabetes and weight loss. It specifically addresses compounded versions of the drugs sold under popular brand names like Ozempic, Rybelsus, and Wegovy. Ozempic and Wegovy have been on the FDA drugs short list for almost a year now. Started last year. The FDA says when drug shortages happen, sometimes compounded or mixed versions of the drugs are prepared, but the agency has not reviewed those compounded versions for safety, effectiveness, or quality.
It's being called a nationwide crisis. ER doctors want the public and politicians to know about the problem called patient boarding. That's when admitted patients are held in the emergency department and ER rooms when there are no beds available. Those inpatient beds are sometimes filled with people who need to be getting care somewhere else. Oftentimes, they're mental health patients waiting for referrals or transfers. It's an issue here at home as well, but San Antonio hospitals apparently partner with each other and third parties to figure out where the open beds are located. Our law enforcement officers are also prepared, since many of them are now trained in mental health triage.
Decide if that patient needs to go to the emergency room, or they could be directed right to the mental health facility, psychiatric hospital for evaluation and treatment.
Nationwide funding could help create some similar partnerships, virtual psychiatric care, or more substance abuse programs. The American College of Emergency Physicians now asking lawmakers to pass what they call the Improving Mental Health Access from the Emergency Department Act. It would give hospitals critical funding to implement the programs that work best for them. Pokemon characters taking over a Nevada community. Well, at least their names are. How a developer here got a little too creative, maybe.
And people are getting creative in order to stave off a few bucks on flights. Their latest trick, and it's something the airlines don't like too much. That means it comes with risks for travelers.